How's it going, guys? Your favorite schmuck Ronnie from Ronnie's Designs. Anecdote of the day. A Redditor was talking to a millionaire and joked around and said, "I'll trade you lives." And he responded, "I could do more with your time than you can with my money." And we are talking about watches today. So this is the SKX. I would like to, if you see my other video, I love comparing watches and cars. I love the like an analogy. You and your buddy had a Civic in high school, but for some reason your buddy Chris had so much more fun with his car. Why? Well, it's analog. It's mechanical. There's 3 pedals. He drove stick, and yours was automatic. And mechanical things, you just need to hold it in your hand, and you need to experience them to really appreciate it. And a mechanical watch is just the same. It's that 1 tick per second is just different from a mechanical movement. And that's what I think the SKX is. It's like the Civic of watches. They're durable, they're well known, they're tried and true. I mean, Seiko almost killed the Swiss at their own game. The SKX is, there are many variants. This in front of you is the 173. This is my personal watch. My dad's friend gave it to me, and I modified it heavily. This is the variants, and their case, thickness, lug length, and lug to lug. That's an 11, by the way. Bad handwriting, sorry. And the 13, I'd recommend the 13 because they're a lot smaller. I think they're nicknamed the Mini Turtle. The variants of the SKXs usually are just the shape and size, the hands, what kind of hands they have, and the hour indices, the hour markers. I like my squared ones. I don't like the 007 with the rounded indices. That's just my personal preference. These watches are very durable. Like, I used to daily this for 2 years, and I would chop wood, boxing with a glove, car work, welding, wanking, sleep, shower, swim, fuck, everything. This thing is really durable. They're tried and true. I mean, no one in the watch community doesn't know about the SKX. You can modify these watches to no end, to the point where if you kept all the parts, you would have 2 completely different watches. You would have 2 full watches at the end. You can modify the hands, which I have. I have not, actually. I've, come on, focus. These are stock hands. Dial. The chapter ring. You can pick whatever color you want. In bezel insert. This is mine aftermarket. It glows. The bezel itself. Bracelet, obviously. Case. The crown you can modify. You can get an aftermarket see-through case back exhibition. Let's see if I can get you a nice shot. Yeah, this bracelet's very old. It should not be able to do that. Most people test their bracelets by see how much it sags. Should not. You'd want to get one in the best condition if you can. Let's see if I can get you a good shot of the movement. This is the 7S26 movement, which is in all the SKXs. You can buy a case, crown, back. You can also buy a movement. You can buy a complete movement for the model SKX you have. But the one that comes with it is this, the 7S26 movement. It is an automatic only, no hacking or hand winding, meaning when you open the crown and take it out, pull to first or second position, the second hand doesn't stop. You can buy a different movement that has hacking and hand winding. This has 21 joules, interestingly enough, so is my JLC. It has a 21,600 beats per hour frequency. I like to just say 6 beats per second. Old American watches, like vintage watches, are usually 5 beats per second. Swiss standard is 8. Grand Seiko and Zenith, I believe, are the only ones that went above that, which is 10 beats. I think the spring drive is 57 beats per second, and Zenith made a watch called the Defy, and I think that's 100 beats per second. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. 41 hours of power reserve on this watch. Really practical complications. like the day and date. Let me set that for you. Never set the day or date when the hour hand is in the upper hemisphere. You don't know, because that's when the gears start to engage for the date change. And if you change the date while it's beginning to engage, you can shear them completely. And that's no fun. So first position, you can change the day. Today's the 25th. So I'm going to set mine to the 24th. And today's Thursday. So I'm going to set this to Wednesday. You can also change the wheels. This one has Spanish. I think the majority of them come bilingual, which is Spanish and English. This way I know if it's AM or PM. So that's AM now. And that's how you wind it or set it. It's pretty simple. You don't really need a watch winder. It's not that difficult to do everything by hand. You don't want to keep the spring wound up and constantly wound up and not give it, you know, a way to escape. Just like having a gun magazine locked and loaded in your safe for 20 years, and when you need it, the spring's no good. So watch winders are, you buy them only if you have a really good rotation. As of today, the 25th, you can buy the SKX on Amazon for about $300 to $400. In my opinion, that's too much. But I recommend buying watches used in good condition, because unlike a car, you can't really dump the clutch on a watch. I mean, as long as the previous owner didn't open the back and fuck around with it, they basically last forever and a half. A reasonable price, I'd say, is like $200 or so, if you can. But they're pretty popular now. So, like I said, there's a whole modifying community. And if you can't get these, the SKX, you can get Orient, Citizen, Casio. Diving watches, mechanical diving watches are a dime a dozen. They're so cheap. Oh, let me get you a shot of the Loom. The Loom on a Seiko is legendary, and I will show you why. As you can see, it blows the JLC out of the water. All these are stock. The chapter ring I replaced so it glows, but the original comes with just a dot. The new Seiko 5s don't have the threaded crown, so I wouldn't recommend that. Like I said, diving watches are a dime a dozen, and I like to set it at the hour hand because diving watches are like the poor man's chronograph. Also, external versus internal. This is so much easier to use. Mine's a little stiff. Because internal are really neat, but, I mean, it takes forever. Like, I can barely get 5 minutes with each turn. So when you're wearing this, it does become a little troublesome to use compared to an external. But internals are pretty neat, you know. The only cons about the SKX is that it's heavy and it's thick. You're not gonna. This doesn't disappear on the wrist. You're definitely aware of its presence. Mine's thicker because I got the case back exhibition. But these are tried and true. Like I said, I think this is the watch you get if you're testing the waters to see if you're into watches or if you want to join the community. Let me get a scale so I can weigh this for you. So, got my scale. I think right now it's in carats. There we go, grams. So this is 138.45 grams. 138.75 grams. Yeah, it's a little heavy. It's a little thick. But other than that, you can dress up, dress down, customize the hell out of these. Great watches. I highly recommend them. When I dailied that, I never took it off. It took a hell of a beating, and it still works perfect. Yeah, that's my review on the SKX. Much love, guys. See you on the next video.